Really, Jeff? Are we prepared? Have you been on this show?
I'm late and I'm prepared.
Thanks. Welcome to Everyone Racers, a show designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture, and music fading out way too early. God, I'm the one not ready. It doesn't matter what kind of Levachamp or Lucky Track Dog you run, SCCA or NASA, we won't discriminate, as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself. Join us each week for a tech discussion, tips, tricks, news and notes in the world of low-dollar endurance racing, and whether it's on the spot, hella sweet, or we're lucky enough, and Chrissy gives us just a tip, we're sure you'll giggle and learn even less. Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mental, and we are Everyone Racers. Thanks for coming back and listening to another Kelly Clarkson episode of our podcast. It is episode 83. If you're not driving a car, don't forget your E1R bingo card. And tonight we are quite proud to welcome our special guest, and if I may say, we're a bit overdue in doing this, Dave Carpenter, one of the crew members and drivers of the most successful three-pedal mafia car in history, the Cressida. He is an outstanding teammate, a terrific human being, and the subject matter expert for tonight's topic. So welcome, Uncle Dave.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you having me on here.
Hi, Uncle Dave.
All right. I have a question that we never ask any of our guests, but I'm going to ask you tonight. We usually don't put our guests on the spot because we don't care whether they listen or not, because who would listen to this except our friends?
I have no idea.
But you're our friend. Are you a regular podcast listener?
Yes, I think I've listened to probably at least 95% of them.
Oh, my God.
That's too many. Too many.
Yes.
I like when he references thing in the paddock, and I'm like, oh, I said that?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
You did say that.
Oh, weird.
Well, then
All
you
right.
should be
Actually listen to the
surprised.
show.
I guess I don't have a
That's
life.
what you're working on.
All right, and I am eagerly looking forward to hearing the story of this wound that I'm seeing on Chrissy. So let's get it started with what you're working on, Jeff.
We're going to do some finger destruction discussion today, but I'm going to start with the destruction of small motors because it continues at my house. I really need to mow my lawn. Spring has sprung in New Jersey, so I finally decided to work on my lawn tractor and figured out why only one blade was spinning, and I discovered I needed a whole new spindle. I did have a fun moment trying to remove a blade with my impact gun.
Oh, God. This feels
because
like
my
a
thumb
safe
was in the
treatment.
way.
Oh, no.
I have another wound that at least half the people I show it to says, you probably should have got stitches on that.
Oh, yeah?
Another one of those?
That's good.
Another one of those.
No.
So,
Paper
top safety
towel and
tip,
electrical tape.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, exactly.
top safety tip, whenever using a rotary device to remove a spinning blade, lock it in
An
place first.
actual blade.
With your toe.
Now, for those of you out there who have never actually touched a lawnmower blade, they're not very sharp.
Oh,
So it was more
I
like
sharpened mine.
it was
I got
more like
bench
getting.
grinder.
Well, mine aren't because
I
it's
say, yeah, I sharpen
Because
mine every
it's
time.
Jeff.
'Cause it's
General Wakeman problem.
so. So I
It's
really
practically
probably
a 2x4
came,
under Jeff. Just
pretty much. I pretty much probably came closer to breaking my thumb than actually cutting it off. But yeah, there it is. So I
Okay.
Safety
discovered.
third.
Yeah.
No.
So I ended up ordering parts because I didn't have the right parts. My lawn is still a jungle, so I went to one of these several broken push mowers, disassembled the car, blew everything out, and I get about 1 hour of mowing before it dies. So I have 2/3 of the front lawn done and savanna in the back.
Ain't got no gas in it.
Yeah, no.
Jeff's house is like one of those rural places that does small engine repair, except no one fixes
true.
anything. So,
Right.
No. And
Correct.
I hate to sound like the old grumpy guy, but there was a time where if your lawn got above a certain length, there'd be a 12-year-old with a push mower knocking on your door offering to do it.
Oh,
So,
I would send them away. I'd be like, no, parts are due Tuesday in Amazon. Go away.
and Jeff's soon to have his own 12-year-old to cut the grass. So,
True.
Yeah, but if there's no lawnmowers to do it, then the 12-year-old can't mow the lawn.
Exactly. No curb shall be built.
do it with
You
scissors.
have two
Builds
broken
character.
lawnmowers. Yeah, right.
I
Two
do have to
broken
say
lawnmowers.
that the lovely and talented Jennifer basically told me, just go buy a new one.
Because she's tired of your BS.
Because I already have 2 ones that don't work, 3 lawnmowers that don't work. I'm not getting a third. So
you know what
the parts
you do?
came in.
Go to Harbor Freight.
Yeah.
And buy their replacement vertical shaft Predator 212cc engine. It's like $99 with a coupon. All right. Stick that on one of your janky ass push mower chassis, and now suddenly you've got something that works. So, exactly, but do it wearing boots, not flip flops, and
wear gloves.
Yeah, and there you go. This is the if the motor on my mower fails, that's totally the way I'm going. Just like I did with my snow blower, it's going to work great.
And bonus, you get to go to Harbor Freight.
Yeah.
So anyway, the parts came in, so I will have a mowed lawn by the weekend. I did want to give a Wakeman RV update.
Hold on, before we start the Wakeman RV update, let's do it around the horn. Over under lawn mowed by this weekend. We will revisit this next episode.
When you say mowed, I'm like completely mowed, front, back, all done. Let's clarify. Okay.
Go ahead.
Over under says it will or it won't.
No.
No.
Oh God.
Ye all have zero faith.
No, we just known you a long time.
Mine's got a better chance of getting mowed.
Do you have a lawn?
Very little. I have an electric lawnmower. It's great. I plug it in. Takes me about 10 minutes. I'm done.
I should get one of them. Anyway.
It wouldn't get you very far.
I don't have much of a lawn.
All right, folks, if you've got an over-under, post it up on our social media about whether or not Jeff's lawn gets mowed by next week.
I will mow that damn lawn, and I will post pictures on the frickin' Instagram now.
Hey, if this is what it takes to do this, we need to do an over-under on Citroen paperwork and post it to everybody and see what happens.
That's no until at least next week. Anyway, RV update. Just like the Citroen paperwork, there is no update. As far as I could tell, I drove by, and the work has not begun.
Oh.
It is still living behind the shop that we took it to last week.
I do have a question for Chris.
Yeah.
Where's the Citroen paperwork?
Today I went to the garage and got the mileage off of it. So that Chrissy
because I filled out the rest of the paperwork, and although our listeners don't know what's happening now, so do we tell? Do we not tell? Or if maybe
we talked about it. We talked about it in the last episode.
We are selling the Citroen to Mental. I officially am selling the Citroen to Mental. It's great. And
so Mental,
he's getting a bargain on it, and then we're also buying Mental Suburban. That's a different story, but
that is a different.
Whoa,
story.
There's some news.
So Mental sent us the paperwork. He actually found the paperwork, which was awesome. Sent it to us and said, "Fill it out." I did fill it out because I have the capability of doing a fillable PDF. I filled it out and it says, "Oh, it needs mileage." Chris was like, "I don't know what the mileage is. I'll drive over to the garage." So we got the mileage, and now the paperwork is ready to go. It just needs to be signed and then sent back.
And if anyone cares,
we've made more progress in the next.
Citroen has 39,011 miles.
Wow.
Or maybe 139, but I kind of doubt that. And
I would argue that's the lowest mileage dildo shifter car in existence.
Quite possibly.
Probably true.
Anyway, that's all I have for my update. Chrissy, you already started by talking about your software. Why don't you tell us about your finger?
I could. Yes. So I wanted to finish my statement was that we have done more progress on the Citroen paperwork in the last 3 days, I think, than we have in the last 2.5 years. So just let that sink in a little, okay?
True,
Chris.
When I was at the garage today, I happened to look at the last Lemons, OK sticker in the windshield of the Citroen. Yeah. 2016.
Now, to be fair to Jeff, we're short-circuiting
the
process because all you're getting is registration.
Wow.
You're not.
Then you're selling it back. You're selling it back to us. There we go.
Right. You're not getting a title. You're just getting registration. Yeah. Because Georgia doesn't.
But that's all it counts. Like I can go somewhere and say I bought this car from this guy in Georgia. They don't have titles on old cars, so here we go.
Okay, got it.
Just saying we're making progress, and we have not made progress with Jeff. True.
All right.
True.
So Chrissy, please, if you can't see, Chrissy is flipping everyone off because she has overused her turn signal finger.
Yes. Yeah. So I had some finger destruction on Sunday. I was noting my mad chopping skills. So Jeff has actually noted I have pretty good chopping skills.
Yeah, pretty good.
So I was chopping and I was like, wow, I'm doing a great job chopping. And then I cut my finger. and I cut it about a third of the fingernail off and some of the finger. And it would have been so much worse if I'd been using my mom's very sharp chef knife. I was using a dull-ish chef knife. And so, yeah, it was exciting and hurts. And I'm getting to use it a little bit better, but it'll be a while until I have used it.
Now, I have a question, clarifying question.
Yes.
Did the blade hit the meat side or the nail side of your finger?
We'll cut the nail off.
Yeah, nail was
So
on
it hit
top.
the nail side first.
Yes.
This
It didn't
is
slice
nail
all the way
off.
through and then to
Oh,
the nail.
no, I didn't go all
it
the way
was
through. I mean, like,
Got it.
nail on
I
top.
didn't get stitches. I have it just...
Yeah.
So really, you didn't destroy the meat of your finger. That's what I'm saying. Like, you could have gone down from the top.
I didn't cut it that way.
So you hit right on the nail.
I went like this, and if I had the sharper knife, I would have needed stitches, and it would have cut it off more. But I did not. Yes.
And this is the hand that you actually hang out the window to indicate your displeasure in traffic.
That's the point
I
by
don't
finger.
do that.
422.
Yeah.
I don't actually do that.
Now, does this count as Chrissy
Not
talks
anymore, you
about
don't.
safety?
Yeah, sure. I
does?
talked
Okay,
about safety.
good.
Well, I'm going to talk about safety even more in a second. Okay, so Chris will talk a little bit more about what we did this weekend, but we had Chris's mom over. We had a really busy yard weekend, busy Easter. We didn't sit down except for dinner, scrambled around. I didn't even talk to people at Easter dinner. This week, I've been in training all week. I had aspirations of doing other things, and I have just been in training all week. And then today, I actually helped, I guess I kind of helped, but he didn't help himself, get some guy fired. It actually in the middle of a train-the-trainer session. Like, somebody was training. My boss, which is this guy's boss's boss, walks into the room, says, I need a break. You need to come with me with your stuff. And they fired him. So that happened today. And that was awesome. And then I also tried to I played matchmaker on the internet to get some floor mats from Matt F., who is a fantastic, loyal listener. Thank you, Matt F., to Florida Man. So he is getting us a delivery of floor mats. And hopefully, if Florida Man is listening, bring and provide Chris good beer, not crap beer.
Dr. Florida Man.
It's true.
Sure.
And I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with his updates. He put straight pipes on the purple slab, and now he wants to keep it.
Good.
I'm surprised it wasn't running earlier. Well, he was having all kinds of carb toe pig issues earlier in the week.
Yep.
That's all I got, I think. Chris, why don't you update on the rest of stuff that we did this weekend?
Housework, yard work. So much of a better hobby than cars. So
Seriously.
yeah, we made a raised garden bed for vegetables. So this time on the Delicious Dish, we're going to talk about wax beans or green beans. Debate.
No, they're purple.
Sorry.
They're burgundy beans. We have burgundy beans and green beans.
Which kind of squash should we plant? How should we plant it? So anyway, we made this nice. We doubled the size of our vegetable garden practically, which is great. Cut down a massively overgrown row of forsythia at the edge of the property with a chainsaw, and so that was. It's nice because it was really out of hand. So we got to do that once in a while. It's been 10 years at least. Clean the house up. Get all the lawn care engines out and running and working well to start the year. And got a new ECU for the Civic from a junkyard so I can get that out to get modified so we can actually get back to that. And drove the NSX to work with the top down. That was wonderful.
Ooh, very nice.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So it's
It
not
was
just
very
the South
nice here.
enjoying the nice weather.
No, it was lovely here. We've been running outside. It's been great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Mental, what are you up to?
So, did all my yard work last weekend in order to prepare to put the house on the market, as we talked about. And we had one person catch us Friday morning before the house was officially on the market. They made a schedule to come look at it later that afternoon. They made us an offer. Then we had another person come look at it that evening. They made us an offer. We accepted that offer. And so 2 people come look at the house. 2 people made offers. We accepted the second offer. They're doing their 7 days due diligence, had our inspection today, and now I am under the gun to fix everything I should have been fixing over the last year. So I'll be going into mad flail wrench mode.
Don't throw wrenches. That's my safety point. That's your safety tip. Don't throw wrenches. Go ahead.
Don't throw wrenches. So did some corporate events, and so while we've been not living in the house, Vicki and I have been hanging out at the local coffee shop using their good internet, and I got recognized not as a member of this podcast, But
Why would that happen?
So
That'd
the
be weird.
Suburban was parked out front, and I've got, you guys have seen my netbook, my MacBook with the stickers on it, and a guy comes in and he goes, "Hey, are you a member of the Three Pedal Mafia?"
Oh no.
Absolutely. No. Guy just bought a Lemon's car, had been on the board. He knew who the Three Pedal Mafia was, and he saw the Three Pedal Mafia sticker on the Suburban, and he's like, "Oh, hey!" And it was the one time I didn't have any E1R stickers.
Oh!
I know.
Wah,
I'm like, yeah,
wah.
absolutely.
Wah, wah. Yeah, beat me to it.
Wow.
So he likes the Three Pedal Mafia, yes?
Yeah, exactly. He's like, "Oh,
Okay.
yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah."
Okay.
Well, that and a nickel will get you nothing.
Get you an E1R sticker.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on sort of selling the house. I know it's not done until it's done, but good for getting the offers.
Yeah.
No kidding. That's all Vicky too.
Cool. So, Dave, what are you doing? What you working on?
What's am I working on? I'm still kind of recovering from pit. I didn't totally unload everything yet. I was feeling kind of under the weather at pit race, or like the week leading up to it. So I was just like exhausted the week after. After that, I did manage to get a oil sample out of the old reliable 5MGE because I'm curious to see where the lead level is, because we've had some high lead levels the last few races.
And just for those who don't know Toyota engine codes, that is the stock engine in the Cressida Supra thing. That they have,
Thank you.
Right, or close to it, right, Dave?
Yeah, absolutely. Stock as can be. It's the original 178,000 miles and probably about 12,000 race miles on it now.
Excellent.
Wow.
Yeah, and after, I think it was New Hampshire, our lead was up a little bit, and then, actually no, it was up quite a bit after New Hampshire, so we were a little nervous going to Road Atlanta, and then it came back down, mysteriously enough, after Road Atlanta.
Well, I've heard a lot of people have issues with elevated lead after Thompson. You're not the only one that I've heard say that. So some people suspect that the tank they use to fill us up may, in other times of year, have leaded gas in it for all the roundy-round races they do. So there's trace amounts in there. And so who knows?
Yes, I did speak to young Chris Egan about that afterwards because he experienced it. But his levels were like... I think his were like in the teens, and they went up to like 20, where ours have been in the teens to low 20s. They jumped up to, I want to say, like 70.
Oh,
and then,
a lot.
and then,
Wow.
Yes, and then after New Hampshire, it went up to 130. And Blackstone Labs was like, it's no real concern yet, but see what it does the next one. And after Road Atlanta, it came back down to 30. So I'm curious to see where it's at now. So, see if another swap, or a swap, I should say, is in the future.
Now, elevated lead levels, what would that mean as wearing?
That would be from the bearings.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, but they said the other metals were fine, which is kind of unusual. That's why they actually also pointed towards fuel too.
Yeah, you'd expect some copper if the bearings were wearing
right
too.
Yes. So other than that, Bobbin, my girlfriend's Bobbin's son, she's got a 20-year-old son who has a 2003 Mazda pickup, a B2300. So for probably about the fifth time, I've had to bleed the master cylinder on it, and if you've never done it, you don't want to. It's a real pain in the ass. It's like an inverted master cylinder that you actually have to pull the whole assembly out of the truck, turn it upside down to bleed it. So other than that, we're just getting...
That is a terrible design, yes.
It is. It's terrible.
I was going to say, is this clutch or brake master?
It's a clutch.
Clutch master.
Clutch master, yes.
Right
It's a Ranger. They've made a billion of those things. You think they would have figured something better out. Oh, well.
Yeah,
I was going to say,
so.
The clutch master shouldn't be any different than it's an 03. Shouldn't be any different than our Ford, a regular old Ford.
Yeah, well,
Ford.
I don't know. It mounts up through the floor, and mounts inverted. So it's a strange setup.
That's kind of how the E30 does it too. It's like in the cabin kind of. Yeah, Jeff.
Why are you so excited?
I'm just going to say, Dave, you think it's the worst design ever, but that's only because you haven't yet seen the Clutchmaster on the Civic yet.
This is true.
That's the worst design ever.
No, hey, that's the best we could do.
I think we did a great job. No,
Sure.
I mounted that.
I am totally on the. This is given the circumstances, it friggin' rocks to its skeletal core.
Sure, after I porta-powered the car away from it. Yeah. That was helpful.
Yeah, that's why you brought the porta power.
I love the porta power.
I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Someday.
How do you mount a clutch master cylinder to a car that never had one and has no room for it? That's the challenge. So, yay.
Yeah. And it's not like you created like a smaller engine. You know, I'll put the smaller engine in this engine bay and I'll have so much more room for activity.
We still had room.
Well, I could have bought the couple $100 kit to do this.
Carts and crafts, or like tea time. What?
Yeah. So instead of buying the couple $100 kit, I just made it out of scrap that was in the bin because I didn't even have good steel because Jeff had all my good steel. So I was actually just digging through the milk crate under the bench. What do I have? This might work. Yeah.
Okay, let's
move on.
So before this becomes a
beat
up on Jeff thing here. Yeah.
Everybody shut up. Let's get back to Dave.
Well, just the one last thing is I'm also preparing now to start our 7th season of RC racing with Jersey Shore RC at Wall Stadium Speedway here in New Jersey.
Oh, well, we're going to get to that later in our main topic because you're here. Although I'm sure we're going to have some Cressida discussion.
Oh, absolutely.
We're definitely going to talk RC cars in just a few minutes in RC competition. But let's move on. It's news and notes time. Mental, I think you're the only one with anything other than me. Unfortunately,
last weekend, a racing driver and instructor, Peter London, was killed in an accident at Palm Beach Raceway. He'd been hired for some private coaching. We've got the link in our show notes, and a GoFundMe has been set up. And the problem is this brings back that whole discussion about right seat instruction. We talked about this with GridLife and how they're getting away from teaching beginners and how actually right seat, there's some discussion about maybe right seat makes it worse. I don't know, but one of the things is I found this on a Twitter discussion from Team Radar Love on Twitter, and it said this is exactly why I stopped right seat instructing. And I believe all of us have done some right seat work. It's something out there, and we have to look into the safety aspects of it. And unfortunately, I don't have the answers, but I feel like I still owe racing some right seat time. So I keep doing it, but I don't know. Maybe I'm putting my life on the line every time.
I think that's a subject for another show. We could talk a whole show about this.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah. So, but if you've got a couple of shekels, help out Peter London's family there. He had a wife and a kid. Nice guy. Speaking of roundtable discussions, Jeff.
Oh gosh.
If you're anywhere on any social media on any of the low budget endurance racing, you've probably heard this a million times, but we're a weekly show, so we're about 3 days late, but the internet jihad has come out to circle around some jerk off who we're all laughing, but this guy, his name is, I don't know, something Bryant. He gave a video for VinWiki. He did an interview, and he totally slagged AER for yelling at him. And he kind of sounded like a douche. And I listened to his point, and I will listen to the whole video because I like VinWiki. I love Edge. And Donnie's been on it. We like VinWiki. I watched the whole thing, and I said, man, this is stupid. This guy really sounds like a jerk-off. I opened my Facebook app, and everyone inside the Lemons forums, AER forums, are all just blasting this guy for being a jerk-off. And then AER posts the video. And I don't know how many of you watched the entire video of his lap, but I watched the 4 minutes that they told me to watch. And this guy passed 25 yellow flags, 9 cars, and was doing about 99 miles an hour performing a pass on Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Road Atlanta.
Road Atlanta, sorry.
Jeff has trouble with the Atlanta tracks.
I know, I did it again.
Everyone does. Everyone does.
He does it more than everybody.
Well, he almost shipped our Coney to the wrong track.
He did!
But either way, this guy was at an AER race. He was a douche. He got yelled at. He got butt hurt. and he went on this VinWiki video and basically said, "You're the assholes because I was going to get you money because I know blah blah blah. Edsel Ford the third, and I'm a douchebag, and I only passed one flag at 50 miles an hour." I got to hand it to AER. They had everything. They had the data on his laps. They had his entire shift on video, including where he didn't get yelled at. And this guy was a complete tool. And I don't know. I'll throw it out there to see what you guys think.
So
douchebag racer is douchebag. That's what it comes down to.
It goes back to that right seat discussion, and we've all done it. And one of the things we hate is you get the guy that's got too much car for his experience level, and usually they are, the type, they are self-made. They made it despite the adversity of this world, and they got there by not listening to people. And that is always going to be the hardest person to right seat instruct with, because you have the hardest time getting them to look. I get it, but I'm the subject matter expert in the car right now, and I need you to do these things so that we can be safe. And there's been a couple of if you go to jackbaruth.com, and also Bradley Brownell wrote the story on there, but a very talented video editor has his overdub when he said, I don't know, I was doing 50 miles an hour overdubbed on the AR video where he's doing 100, executing a pass on the very turn where a corner worker was killed a year before. I have nothing but admiration for him as a human being. He did pull himself up by his bootstraps, but dude, get over it. All right. All of your experience in that world means nothing. And for 6 laps, you put 50 plus people in danger. Stop making excuses. Stop giving me that I'm an entrepreneur laser-like focus, and stop saying I don't appreciate the stuff you guys are saying about me because I had a hard life growing up. You blew it. And I've blown it worse. And I pull in there and go, sorry, mental, you're an idiot. Get back out on the track. That's how easy it is to get around that stuff.
I don't know any one of us who would have blown by 25 yellow flags.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. 25 yellow flags. Yeah,
Wow.
I'll give you
That was
But I don't. What? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
honestly, that
Chris,
was
what?
Mental's teacher voice. I feel bad now. Like,
I'm waiting for the yardstick. Yeah, if I could say that this guy, like, I watched all the videos I saw pop up the other day. I watched his video and I was like, oh, somebody just blasted an AER, and then like Jeff said, he was very condescending and very douchey about the name dropping and everything. And then I saw the actual video myself too, and I just, what did he think? Everybody, like, he became Superman and just like started blowing by cars,
I am the fastest driver ever. Look, I'm passing all these people. This is great.
Oh my God, this is so easy.
It happens every once in a while, and you're like, this can't be right.
Yeah.
This, you can't. Do you see? There's no flag there. Is it okay? That's what happened. But not 25 times.
Yeah.
And then he doubled down with another video after he was getting beat up.
He did.
And even just made it just as worse, He was just ridiculous.
Yep.
Yeah.
Note
Didn't
to
somebody
everyone.
say he did a video where he slagged off instructors for some other series?
Now,
Yes.
that was actually legitimate, because I've seen the instructors that he was bagging on, and we've all seen those kind of instructors. They're just there for the free track time, and the guy was over there fiddling with his car and said, oh, yeah, you're fine. Go out there and just gas it. And he ended up wadding up in a Vora because his instructor was crappy. I'll give him that. But the rest of this, no.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you ever find yourself in a situation where you're passing all kinds of cars that you don't usually pass at great speed, look at the flag station. Just saying.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
go ahead and come on into the pits. Even if you haven't been black flagged,
It's
just play
hard
it safe.
to miss one flag at every flag station, but it was full course yellow. There were 2 flags at every flag station. So
That's
it,
ridiculous.
there's a great song out there too. Let me see if I can play it here.
No. Yeah, I just sent I posted it up. There it is.
Get off the track. It's you, Home Slice. Get off the track. Get off the track.
Oh my God.
Get off the track.
So, yeah.
let's take an over/under on who makes that their theme. I'm gonna have the John Hope Bryant sponsored "It's You Home Slice" entry into the next.
I'm so
Oh no,
busy
CMP
theming
soon.
right now.
Right, we would be theming right now. No, I'm sure there's somebody coming with it.
Donnie, we're
Understood.
talking to you. I know you just put the race Camry down up on the floor like this morning, but if you put sponsored by John Hope Bryant on the side, you're going to get points.
Oh, well.
All right,
Let's
speaking
talk
of,
about real racing.
Yeah, let's
go
talk
into
about
racing.
that race. CMP at LEMS this weekend, right?
Woo!
Mental. What do you think?
All right. So, as always, our guest number one, Eric Rude, got us the entry list for a true twice around the clock, 24. If only we knew some clown who was going to be there. Anyway, so there's 80 cars, 7 BMWs,
Boring.
5
Boring.
Miatas, 6 Hondas, 2 P cars. One of those is from Sorry for Party Racing because we love those guys, but they love bad decisions. And Dr. Florida Man's Race Camry. Never mind how much it looks like a Lexus.
So there's plenty of good cars. A lot of no surprises. Hong Kong Fui's Miata sees top 10 a lot. Knox Racers Lowballers are bringing the Geo and the Contour Stang. Squirt and Coronas, they're going to be in the hunt the whole race as usual. So and lots more. The Irritable Dads Miata, they've won before. There's a lot of good cars that are going to be there, but 24, who knows? In B, I don't even know who's going to be in B. You can never really tell. It depends on the judges, depends on the day. But, hey, I'm hoping that I'm going to be in contention there because I'll be there with Terminally Confused and their Del Sol. And last time I raced with them, we were second in B and top 10 overall, so we're going to give that another shot. We're probably just jinked us right there, but that's okay.
Yep. Don't do it.
And for C-Class, never underestimate Idle Clado's ability to just keep running no matter what. With their terrible Toyosades, Sputnik might actually pull off their Sentra with 30% motor roof and do all right. And
Do they give that C?
usually because they know it's Sputnik. Like, they're not going to do well. Like, you could put them in any class you want. It doesn't matter. And then there's a new car by a veteran team, the Senior Citizens Club of America, SCCA. Their second car is a 78 Datsun B210GX.
Whoa. That's like 300 less than a 510.
I hope
exactly.
it's still got the golf ball hubcaps. At least is like that'd be a great bride.
Not golf ball, they're honeycombs.
But they look like golf balls.
Terrible
Well,
car
I'll-
when new, still terrible now. So
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll talk about some of the bad. Misfortune Cookie will be there, bringing a Miata this time. Normally we put them in the good section, but they rev too much. Slow and Spontaneous, because the 1992 Eagle Talon. Terminally Confused, we already mentioned them. They have some clown with them this weekend, so they'll probably suck. I don't want to jinx you, but your Hondas haven't been that great lately.
This is not my Honda. Not my Honda.
Is it stock?
They aren't trying to go fast with theirs. They have like a stock B18 in it.
They do.
Oh, that's-
They're trying to go reliable.
I think stock means you'll probably survive. Unlike their boring BMW, should have bought spectator passes, Subaru 2.5, which ran one race already and didn't blow the head gaskets. So maybe it's this time. Who knows?
And in talking about Chris and driving this weekend, it'd be nice if he could drive this weekend because out of the 5 of us, 4 of us didn't have a great race weekend. So at the last race, so it'd be nice if you actually.
Well, and out of the last, how many races, Chris? How much time have you actually? How much seat time? You haven't gotten a whole lot of seat time.
I mean,
A
I
lot of
guess
wrench time.
Yeah,
we shouldn't say this
The last time I
because
had
it
a
might
good
not.
long shift at a race was like 2008-17.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've been hurt.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Was that when you drove my car?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. New Hampshire.
No, I had one good shift in Hamza's car. So
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So I have some funny ones. The Deutsch Bags in their 97 BMW. We mentioned Dodgy Racing from Fort Dodge, Alabama, running their 88 Dodge Daytona. Fail Inc., best damn garage in town. Duff Beer and their Triumph Stag. And that's a horrible idea. They know it, but they are fun and they make some fantastic beer. Junk in the Frunk, driving an 86 MR2.
Great name.
Yes, it is.
I
And,
love that.
A bunch of idiots, which is a great name, but not very specific.
All right. Moving on real quick, you've also got Champ Car at Road America this weekend. They've got 50 cars, 15 of them are BMWs, and they are still
Boring.
7 Miatas, 5 Hondas, but 4 of those Hondas are Acuras. Only one actual Honda, 5 P cars, and a PT Cruiser.
Nice. And they've got some good cars. I mean, I guess there's the Dirty 30. They've run a few series there quick. And Matt Connolly Motorsports should do well and won't change their name no matter what we say because he paid someone $30,000 to tell him to use his own name. So I'd be wed to it at that point too.
Yeah. Champ car, where typically the only question is what kind of E36 or 46 do you have, or which class is your Honda or Miata in? There's actually a guy with a PT Cruiser.
That's crazy.
That's crazy, right?
Uh-huh.
There's also No Brakes Racing in a Hyundai Accent. So that seems like some good points. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
I hope the PT Cruiser wins.
Who doesn't?
Or at least does well. All right, so there's some funny ones. A drunken squirrel racing in an 88 Cougar, also not champ-worthy, you think. And Limpy Screwdriver racing in a Firebird. And Ludicrous Speed will take their MR2 to Plaid, and Mopar in a Neon. So
Say that 3 times.
no, I'm good.
All right. Now, we did miss handicap in this race, but last week, American Endurance Racing was at Watkins Glen. It's you! Home slice, get off the track. 72 cars. Here's where all the BMWs went, because there were 37 boring BMWs. Boring. 7 Miatas, 4 Hondas, 10 P cars, and the Keystone Cops Volvo was back after their incident in Mid-Ohio last year. So, if something of interest, though, they are really tightening up their classing.
Wow. Alex Rubenstein posted, for WGI, we started using some very new and nifty tools for classing. It takes 12 unique characteristics of the cars and individual drivers and presents us with an hourly update graphical representation to visual. Oh, my God, I just don't know. Class 1 top 3 cars had a separation of 5.5. The top 2 cars had a separation of 21.9 seconds. And the Class 5 cars, the 2 top cars were 0.1 second apart. So I guess the separations are working. Class 2 on Sunday, that was all Saturday, by the way. Class 2 on Sunday, the top 5 cars had 4 laps of separation. The top 3 cars had 25.5 seconds separation. The top 6 were in 2 laps. And Class 5, the top 3 were in 3 laps of each other, and the second and third were on the same lap. So a lot of cars coming in on the same lap. So I guess it's working. I don't know.
Okay. So Class 5, their classing is weird. The fast class, taken by Team Saline in a Cayman, but Blue Bayou in their fast Mustangs, was first on Sunday. Class 4, Team ACP took second on both days, and that brought them to the top trophy for the weekend, because everybody at this racing series gets a trophy of some sort. The 24 class, 24 car Class 3 won Krabby Kraut by our buddy Matt Connolly. Did not finish on Saturday, but was 8th on Sunday.
Class 2, Poisson Hall. I don't know why they have a French fish name, but okay.
Fish.
Right. Barely edged out Big Red and AutoWorks crew for overall. Class 1 taken by Trumpster, barely over AJ Laporte, who got his groove back. And Don't Panic E30. And the aforementioned Keystone Cops did not finish either day, but hey, they're there. So good for them. Hopefully they get back going. Yeah.
Awesome. And I just want to say that you can't be on the 3-pedal mafia like that guy who accosted Mental in the coffee shop the other day, but he can still be awesome by checking out supercars. Check out Extreme Experience. They can put you in the driver's seat of some of the world's best supercars at over 20 racetracks in America and Canada with no speed limits, no shifting restrictions, and no governors. Awesome cars, awesome tracks, and awesome 3 p.m. caliber instructors like Mental, Chris, and myself will sit in the right seat and take a ride along in their new Polaris Slingshot. They now have a McLaren, but don't buy it too early. It'll probably break. According to Mental, it's almost as good as the hardware we're bringing to NGMP. But I know what you're saying. But Jeff, I want to be cool. I don't want to listen. I don't know what's going on there. Look, your cries do not go unanswered. I personally negotiated this deal. E1R, just for you. Enter Everyone Racers. One word, Everyone Racers, and get 25% off your booking at xxspeed.com today. Extreme Experience. It's your turn. There's an obligatory mention of Chrissy's mom here, but I'm just going to say hi, Chrissy's mom. Hi, Chrissy's dad. Hi, Chrissy's sister. Hi,
you.
Dave, who I didn't realize listened all the time. Hi, Dave.
And
Hi.
everybody who's coming to CMP, if you're going to listen to this on the way down, If you stop by the Terminally Confused paddock, I may have some of Chrissy's mom's cookies left if I don't eat them all.
Yeah, she did a smaller batch, not 15 batches of cookies. There's probably about 3 or 4.
But you will have to wrestle Kurt, and that will not be easy.
As she usually does, they have their own.
Yep.
You'll see.
And now they're excited.
But they have to survive the ride down with me, as long as I don't put them in the front seat.
I have to say, coming back from pit, every race that I've been to with you guys, I've always gotten a little bag from Chrissy for the ride home, and I didn't get it this time.
Nobody did because they were gone. We ran out, because I left multiple containers in the garage where we were all sitting. I didn't have any left over because I just lost track.
That is not for your mom to make more cookies because what it was.
No.
Yeah,
Mom,
please
do not make cookies.
Because everyone knew that we were bringing those cookies to pits race, and we had hundreds of people come through the paddock. Where are Chrissy's mom's cookies?
Hey, what's the track that we were just at, Mental? What's it called?
Pit race. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So I do have to say that the reason we probably ran out was because every time we pushed the TR back on the on the tow truck, Chrissy offered the tow truck drivers some cookies, and that'll just wipe out your supply.
And I brought them to Kim and the party down in the other room, and yes, I
spread
joy
well through cookies.
Listener feedback. Let's keep going.
Listener feedback. So last week we mentioned our challenges everyone has these with keeping windshields clear and with our Barbasol treatment, and it just didn't hold up after wiping it off. So young Chris Egan on the Facebook said, "Hey, I know you guys love the shaving cream trick, but seriously, electric defrosters work so much better. They don't wear off like shaving cream does. They just plain work." Thompson last year, when it poured all Sunday, crystal clear the whole time. So that turned into a discussion where Brett Sloman challenges installing an electric one in their car and saying, "Hey, we did lose the instructions. It followed a YouTube tutorial while drinking, so that's guaranteed success right there."
Yep.
And,
I saw the wires hanging off the shield when he came in.
Yeah, it's fine. Glenn Farney also posted an excellent alternative with some detail and technical explanation that we can't recount here, and I'm not that smart, but go read the thing on Facebook. My take is I totally agree with Chris. That is the right answer. The Civic's windshield needs to be replaced anyway, so I just haven't put it on there yet because I figured then I'd have to replace it, so I didn't do that. But I still have the spot in the fuse box where the rear defroster used to go. So on the Z, we left the full factory heater, blower, and dash and defrost things all in just so we can give this a try. Yeah. Dave, what's up?
Yeah, on the Cressida, we've had really good luck with the shaving cream, but we also put in, I think it was after the first time I experienced fog, a simple $20 kit from Speedway for like your hot rod to put defrosters in the dash, and like a little plastic sheet for a dashboard, and a fan picking up heat off the floorboard. So the combination, it worked terrific on Sunday at pit. It was you would see some moisture on the windshield, like it would start collecting, but it wasn't fog, and you could see through it.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
Well, Hamza's car has the same setup. He kept the stock dash and the stock defroster vents, and then 3D printed a little thing to go from the stock blower to 2 different hoses to get it to go to the, of course, because Hamza said, "I'm just going to print this."
3D printer, man. I'll 3D print everything.
Right. So
I got a car. I'll 3D print one.
Right. So we tried that, and that wasn't working all that well in the BMW. But every car has different airflow. Everyone works differently. So. Anyway, I think Chris's idea is great.
Get a rag on a stick and go turn laps.
No, that didn't work.
Not at pit. I tell you, I can't imagine using a rag on a stick there because you don't really get many chances to go straight.
No, I was trying, and then I would slow down, and then I would just like, okay, where is it? Okay, good.
Yeah, it was awful. So we also had our Facebook post about the TR's fuel cell, and Micro Chrysler posted, and you thought I was overreacting with many of the potential fails of the fuel cell. Might have been even made fun of our travails. But once sorted, I'm sure they're awesome. In many cases, the only answer. Sadly, they're often a major point of failure. And you're absolutely right. But that fuel cell went in to solve a lot of problems because we realized it wasn't actually the cell, but a neglected exhaust issue that was boiling the fuel. The original fuel cell for the TR was like 14 gallons, and with that hungry mill, nope, that is just not going to work at all. But more to your point, the BMW and the Cressida still have stock fuel systems, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
And then
so does the 300Z.
Yeah, and we did appreciate Dinesh's question. Have you tried hitting it with a hammer? Well, of course we did, Dinesh. That's like step 2 in the repair checklist. Step 1 is just cuss at it.
Shake it. That's step 1.
Like a British nanny.
Pretty much. Okay, so our prom night post pictures generated a lot of conversation. Jerry Ringel mentioned, man, that chick next to Mental is hot. And top fan Jen said that Chris in a dress never gets old. Chris was hamming it up. That was awesome. And Mental and I produced a quick intro video about how our weekend was shaping up, which you listened to last weekend's episode. It was not very good. We explained that it as a shit show, and Eric Maservi said, unfortunately, it's been an executive producer of far too many of these shows. He wished us luck.
Yep.
So we got a new listener, Lee Muleman. He shared his, is that how you pronounce it? Muleman?
Sure.
Shared his page and said, just discovered your podcast and I'm hooked. Check out my build at Dare Greatly Racing. The link is in our notes. Thanks for the comments, Michael. Now go put that crap on iTunes, the 5-star rating, slacker.
Please.
And next week, it's going to be May, the time when the hearts of racers turn to thoughts of fancy. Well, how about some fancy racing? Lucky Dog has openings for their Memorial Day weekend event at Utah Motorsports Campus, which I've heard is a really wonderful place to race.
Yeah.
Spank was telling me a story how he accidentally like a bit of paper fell out of his pocket, and 3 feet behind him was someone with a broom and cleaning it up for him. So
I felt that way at Barber sometimes.
Yeah. Anyway, but also the track is great too. But hey, they have got a car show, live music, food trucks, karting. It sounds like a great time. It would be great if we weren't 2,000 miles away. And holy crap, the rest of their schedule still has openings. So if you haven't figured it out, they book up quickly usually. So go check it out. RaceLucky.com. Say hi to Kathy.
All right, it's main topic time, but I don't have my regular microphone, so I won't be yelling. Today we're talking about tiny cars but big racing, all about RC racing, and we brought friend and teammate Dave because he's done this crap longer and he's done real car. Wait, which is longer, RC racing?
Oh, RC racing, yes, RC racing. Absolutely.
So we're total noobs in this topic. So why don't you start us out with a little bit of background? Tell us what the hell is RC racing? Where'd it come from? Chris, you want to add to this?
I'm not a total noob. I had a Tyco 9.6V hammer when I was a kid. I did some sweet jumps with that thing. Come on.
This isn't going to work, but I'm going to send it.
There you go. Well, I started, like most of you, when I was probably 10 or 11 years old. I actually cut grass to save money to buy my first RC car. Find a kid to do that today.
Oh, good.
Yeah, you better bribe him with an RC car, Jeff.
Yep. So my first car was a Tamai Grasshopper, and I just beat around with it with some of my friends. And it wasn't until I was old enough to actually drive myself anywhere that I found a local slot car track that would set up a track in their parking lot, and dug out my stuff, blew the dust off of it, and I started racing, and I was hooked on it. From there, it was just I was all in. I started venturing out to other tracks. I found out how competitive it was, and probably within 2-3 years, I was actually racing at regional and national level races, winning some regional races, and by the time I think I was 21, I actually won a national championship that was actually held here in Jersey. Back then there was tracks everywhere. There was and oval racing was king. Super speedways were all over the country. I think there's 2 or 3 left in operation now. But
actual RC super speedways.
Yes, absolutely.
So what's the speed difference?
Well, the super speedways were built to look like a Daytona or a Talladega, right. And they'd be 350 feet run line, and the cars big. At that time, yeah, they were huge. The cars at that time could do probably 50 miles an hour around a track like that.
What?
The technology today, then as part of the problem with it is the technology has made the cars so fast that only the elite drivers could actually handle them.
Mm-hmm.
So the tracks that are still in operation that are racing those do a lot of spec racing, or they actually do breakout racing where they have lap time limits. They can't go below a certain lap time. So that's made it better. But so other than the oval racing, I did a lot of road course racing, and that was where my heart was always in oval racing, but I really enjoyed the road course racing because it was more driver than it was chassis and motor and battery setup. So I did work for a company, for a manufacturer in the industry for a few years, and that really got my feet wet in other aspects of it because I did sales. I was involved with promotions, organizing a spec series that they had going at the time, and that would all help me down the road. That ultimately burned me out for a while because it was my job.
It became your job, yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
So, and during that time, I used to drag Aaron out when it was little Wartburger Aaron.
Was he ever little?
Oh yeah, he actually was.
See, I can picture Aaron being young Aaron, but
Yes.
I don't. Yeah.
I don't know about little Aaron, but young Aaron,
Yeah, he was little Aaron, but even before his voice changed, and he hates when I say that. But
Yeah.
so I used to I started dragging him.
To much deeper.
Yes, I was thankful when it changed. But I used to drag him around to races with me. And then when I went through my burnout period, he went off and started doing paintball and other stuff. And I eventually came back to it with just a whole different attitude. No matter what I did, I was doing it to have fun. And if it wasn't fun, I wasn't going to do it. And then there was a lot, when I got back in, only 5 years later, there was a lot less tracks out there. The hobby started to die. So I got involved. I did some traveling again, but did some big races. There's a race down in Florida every February called the Snowbird Nationals, which is one of the biggest events in the world. They pull 700-800 entries from all over the world.
What?
We'll go there.
What?
Absolutely. They do countless classes of road course, and then they'll switch the track around at night and run oval racing all night long. Ooh. And it is literally like a marathon. I did it once. It's off the bucket list. I did it. I'll probably never do it again. It was a lot of money and a lot of effort. It was fun, but yeah, I'm not doing that again. So after that, I settled into a local track, which actually had a super speedway. It was the only super speedway in Jersey, and I helped keep the place going for a while. It got involved with running the program. We actually built an indoor track in a building there. I did that for 5 years, and just due to poor management, poor ownership, the track is no longer run. Some other guys, after I bailed, gave it a valiant effort and tried keeping it going. But that led to today, or I should say 7 years ago now, we got an opportunity to start running large-scale cars at Wall Stadium on a quarter midget track. Quarter midgets are I'll say they're like go-karts for kids from 5 to 16. It's about a 310-foot run line. It's the perfect size for an RC track. And
so it's a real racetrack for real karts that kids can sit in, that
Right.
they have nights where you guys run RCs.
Right. Everything's there for us. There's lights on the track. I use their scoring loop. I plug my decoder box into it and use my software, and it's the perfect scenario. So we started it with doing quarter scale and fifth scale cars, and quarter scales are about 3 foot long, powered by a 23cc Zenoa motor, 2-stroke, like a weed whacker motor. And they're stock cars. Mostly we run the stock cars. There are sprint cars and even modified conversions for the stock cars. But they can, depending on the track, they can go upwards of 40, 50 miles an hour. And probably even faster, actually, if you ran them on a really big track. On our track, they probably do about 35 miles an hour down the straights. But
That's huge.
Yeah, they're big cars. And everything that I've ever raced, and I've raced everything from 12 scale on-road, touring cars, off-road. The quarter scales, I always just loved the way they drove. They were the closest thing to a real car. Your driving mattered. Even though it's oval racing, they will change through a course of a run because of the tires heating up. The track changes because of the track temperature more than any other car that I've ever run. So we've since have expanded into 10 scale just because there's not a lot of people in a quarter scale. It's tough to get people into it because it's an expensive initial investment. But we're going into our 7th season right now, and we're plugging along. We run on most Thursday nights throughout the summer.
And is that electric or gas, the 10 scales?
The 10 scales are electric. We actually run 2 classes. One is a spec class. It's called the Mud Boss. It's a Traxxas. I don't know if you ever heard of Traxxas. It's a big manufacturer of ready-to-run cars. They make a Slash, which is a 2-wheel drive off-road truck, and you convert it by changing the body, putting a dirt modified style body onto it and running it on an oval. And there's a company that set up rules for it and set up a whole rule package for it. And so we run those. And then for the guys that want to go faster with 10 scales, we do run a sprint car class, which has got a faster, it's called a 10.5 motor, but they absolutely rip around the track. They're like little pocket rockets. They're so fast.
And they're gas or they're electric too?
Those are electric too. Yeah, the gas cars are the quarter scale stock cars, and then we run a Baja class. It's called a HPI, is another major manufacturer that makes a 5th scale off-road buggy that guys have converted to run on ovals.
Yeah. So I said we're all noobs and we know nothing, but I actually had some RCs back in the day, all 10 scale, all electric, and I was always a little jealous of the gas guys because those things are just tremendously faster. But, I had a few hobby level, like an RC10, I had a Tamiya all-wheel drive, some sort of thing. They were all touring cars. Probably, I don't know. They were touring cars. I know that. I loved building them, but I never got to race them because there was no racing near me, or so I thought. And it sounds like it's harder and harder to find race series. So, how do you find them?
Well, when you were younger, there probably was plenty of places. It was just finding them. If your local hobby shop didn't know anybody, back then the only real way you could find places was to look in the back of an RC car magazine, and they'd have track listings. Today, it's with social media and the internet, it's not hard to find places. The biggest challenge is getting people to come out to do it. With any form of racing, and you guys are all racers, real racing, RC cars can be just as much of just as competitive as real racing is.
Dave's air quotes. There it is. Yeah.
Yes, douchebags passing yellow flags. You'll get newbies in, and part of the problem is everybody wants instant gratification. They struggle, then they give up. And I got to say now compared to back then, there's more racers now that are helpful. They are willing to – they'll take your car home with them and rebuild it for you to try to help you to get you to stay in.
Well, you said you run a spec series. That has to help, right? Because the spec series, at least you're not just thinking that they outspent you.
Well, you're thinking that, but – my experience in spec racing in RC has been around for 20 some years. There's always been stock classes where you're limited on a motor, you have to run a particular motor, and the cream always rises to the top, and there will always be somebody who'll say, oh, well, that guy's got to be cheating because he's going faster than me.
And I'm cheating.
Of course.
And I'm cheating, exactly. Yes. So my experience is we've had situations at our track where some people will say, oh, somebody's cheating. And we have one guy that runs with us that is a multi-time national champion. He's won at that Snowbirds event. He is a really, really good driver. And he puts his homework in. He does his time working on his cars. And you're not going to just go out and beat this guy, and he's got too much to lose to cheat. He's got a reputation, he's got sponsors. So we run into those kind of situations now and then, more so with the electric cars than we ever do with the gas. But Today, like I said, with social media, it's not hard to find places. There's just not as many of them.
So talking about all the cars there's got to be a huge scope of swath of different things that are RC cars, like from the crappy $12 ones at Walmart that go forward and then back into turn, and then, the really high-end stuff. So, like, what goes into, like, a typical car? Like, what is the car? What kind of maintenance are we dealing with? What kind of
What's your
consumables?
buy-in?
Right.
Yeah.
What do you have to replace? What are the costs? Like, what is it all about?
Well, there is, like you said, there's ton of different types of cars and levels of cars. You're predominantly, like, I'll say in this area, you have 10 scale is like predominant, but you have off-road. So there's off-road tracks around where you could buy off-road buggies, off-road trucks. There's nitro and electric in those. I didn't do a lot of off-road racing back in the day. I wasn't really a huge fan because it required a lot of maintenance every week. Jeff wouldn't like it. You'd have to actually clean your stuff.
I don't want to clean anything. I'll
We
fix
know
stuff,
that.
but I ain't cleaning shit.
So, there's that. And off-road, much like a lot of any kind of racing, tires is probably the biggest consumable. You've got on-road racing. So you've got summertime and wintertime. Wintertime, everything's indoors. Carpet tracks. You get 12 scale on road, which is a smaller scale. They look like, I'll say, like prototypes or Can-Am cars. They originally started in the 80s and they looked like Can-Am cars. So now they've kind of morphed into something that kind of resembles like a prototype car. How
many of them show up in Gulf colors every week?
You know what? Now none, but
Oh.
back in the day there might have been one or two.
We're going to talk, Jeff.
Yeah.
I'm
So-
all down with the Gulf colors. I would just do martini.
So between 12 scale, then there's touring cars. There's a slew of classes that have come about in recent years in an effort to try to get more people into it. There's touring cars, kind of probably what you had, Jeff. That's like four-wheel drive. But sometimes they run foam tires. Sometimes they run rubber tires. The foam tires are probably the biggest consumable of any carpet racing. Because, guys, you true them down to bologna skins, you get 2 or 3 runs, and you throw them away.
Oh.
Yeah,
What's the set it cost?
well, I'll give you an example. One year I went to the Snowbird Nationals. I just ran oval, and I ran 2 classes. I ran, they had at that time, they had like a mild modified class and an open modified, and I ran those 2 classes. And you would put on a set of tires every time your car touched the track because there was so much at the time we used to use or they still use traction compound, but a different type, that the bite in the track would come up so much you'd actually have to clean it off your tires every run. So instead of doing that, you bolt on a set of tires, you go out, you scuff them in practice, you take them off, you let them dry, and you put on a set each run. Through that course of the weekend, I probably went through between probably 15 and 20 sets of tires, that being about 25 at that time, probably $25 to $30 a pair.
Whoa!
Oh.
Yes.
Wow.
Fortunately, when I went down there, yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Fortunately, I had a sponsor that I got a discount, so it made it affordable for me to do that. But you're absolutely right, Mental. There's a quick side note between Lemons and RC. When I got into Lemons, I ran into some people that I knew from RC racing. You guys know that the team of Moticons, they had the Yellow Fiesta. The 2 guys on that team are ex-RC racers, and one of them actually used to own a track in South Jersey. And we were talking about it, and that's what they said. The money they had in RC, the money they were spending to go to races, they decided they're going to buy a Lemons car, and they went Lemons racing. But just like anything, what level you want to spend and where you want to compete. I could tell you now locally with spec racing being so big at various tracks around, it doesn't cost that much. That's like a one-off big event that you're going to go to, and you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot by not being prepared. But for like on a local level, you're not going to spend that much on tires, but you still, can go through a lot. The quarter scale cars that we run, the tires are $50 each. However, they can last upwards of like 2 seasons on one set of tires. So
It's like our ST43s. I
Yes.
said that just so people could check something off their sheet.
Oh, that's not fair.
cheater.
I don't even have it. Damn.
No, I don't either.
But the quarter scale cars are actually much cheaper to run in the long run. Like the selling point to them to try to get people into it is you're going to spend more money initially on a car. But over the course of the season or even 2 seasons, unless you're bouncing it off the walls, you're not going to spend anything on maintenance. But again, like I said, there's various different tracks. They have different ways of trying to keep costs down. Cars anywhere from, like, let's say you want to go 10 scale electric racing, you can buy the Traxxas Slash for under $200. You can be racing for $300, $350, $400. Other classes like that 10 scale sprint car class, a car alone, probably $400 to $500 for a brand new one, and that's just a roller. That's not including any electronics or anything. So, it's really what you want to spend and at what level you want to go to. Myself personally, I don't get to race much anymore because I run the show there, and it's just like near impossible to do both. But I really like the quarter scale because of the cost savings. Like once I had the car, I could go all season, and I go through 2 gallons of gas throughout the whole year, and that's it.
That's pretty awesome.
That's a little cheaper than our gas budget.
Yeah, a little bit.
But the tire budget, I'm surprising, kind of almost on point, really.
Yeah, well, again, like I said, it depends on what level you're going to go to. Like if you race dirt ovals, getting really big again, and it was huge back in the late 80s, and it's kind of coming around again. And a lot of it was because of the cost control, and it's this Mud Boss class has really helped save oval racing in RC world because it's brought a lot of guys back that quit, that just kind of gave up. So it's really good to see that.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, I think spec racing is a great deal. I mean, before we found lemons and when we were still toying around at the beginning of lemons, spec E30 was just exploding, and it became, it was going to be the savior of racing. Little did they know that, like, guys in dresses was actually going to be the savior of racing.
Hot guys in dresses.
Sometimes. I don't know.
Well, that's debatable.
Or pantsuits. I don't know.
Well, this has actually been really great. I know that there's some other questions around the table, but I just want you to go back and plug what you're doing again, because we have a lot of East Coast listeners. We have a lot of people who could get to Wall Stadium, are within driving distance. Could I spectate? Could I get
Sure.
in? Could I watch?
Absolutely. Yes. We have a Facebook page. It's Jersey Shore RC Racing. And I have this schedule posted there. We don't race every Thursday night. We race, like, on average three nights a month, 3 Thursday nights a month. We have to work. We're there basically at the grace of the Quarter Midget Club. They allow us to be there. We're like a fundraiser for them. Us being there, we raise money for them, which helps the little kids with their banquet or whatever they want to do with them for the year. Anybody's welcome to come spectate. Check it out. If it's something that's interested, there's always people, like all the guys that are there are all very helpful. I've got a really good group of guys that run with us that will answer anybody's questions. They all want the same thing. They want to give, have fun. It's their night out, essentially.
Yeah. Are you running on the same night as the Quarter Midgets, or they're not there that night?
They're not there that night. Yeah, they give us the night. Yep.
Yeah. And how many races can you do in a night? I mean, how long are the races? Like, because the battery pack in my thing used to last like 12 minutes.
You weren't going very fast then.
No.
We run, typically with what we do is the 10 scale cars will run 2 rounds of qualifying, and the heat races are 4 minutes. Then the quarter scale cars, because we have basically an 8-ounce fuel tank, they can run like 75 laps. So we'll run a heat race, and it's mainly because of our car counts with the quarter scales are smaller. Everybody's usually going to make the main, so we just run a heat race, and then however the finishing position of the heat race determines where you start in the feature.
Heat
we'll
and
run
feature.
We'll run a 75 lap feature for them, which with quarter scales, because of the size of them, we don't have marshals on the track. Safety is the absolute utmost importance. So we actually do caution flags. So you don't want to blow by that yellow.
Good idea.
Home slice, get off the track.
I guess getting hit by a 3-foot NASCAR-looking car at 35 miles an hour probably mess you the hell up.
No, they're 30 pounds. They weigh 30 pounds. So 30 pounds hitting you at 35
Flying
miles an hour
will
take you off your feet. We have had it happen. So we don't want to see that again. But anyway, we do caution flags. And then if somebody has to go out on the track, we have a red flag. So because it's a lap race, they can, if we ran 75 laps green, it could be done in less than 10 minutes. But with cautions on anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes. That's
a lot quicker than I expected for a 75-lap race.
Yeah.
They're cooking.
We're doing like 7, I want to say like, I can't remember lap times from last year, like 7-second laps, 6, like maybe high 6s.
Well, we just put the link in our show notes, so.
Yeah.
Terrific.
Great.
Awesome. Around the table, anybody else got any questions before we move on?
Mental?
I do, but I feel like you've danced in it, but I'll go ahead and just ask the obvious questions on there. So just going from the RC to Lemons, how did that translate into, this makes total sense. I'm in a big car, I'm strapped into the big car, but I know exactly what I'm doing in this situation because of my RC experience.
As most RC racers that haven't already actually had the opportunity to drive a race car all dreamed about it. That's like ultimately what we wanted to do. I was always around Wall Stadium at stock car races when I was younger, always wanted to do it, just never was financially feasible. And Aaron actually is the one that brought Lemons to my attention when he was starting to get the itch of doing something involving racing. And he was the first to introduce me to you guys.
We're sorry.
Was like, and it's been a lot of bad decisions since. But
one great wedding.
It was absolute best wedding. But to answer your question, it's helped in a lot of situations. Like I can control my emotions better because I've been through a lot of situations like on a national level with RC racing where when something happens, I kind of can stay calm. Like even on a racetrack. And to go back to RC racing for a minute, I did do some endurance style RC racing. There wasn't many tracks that did it, but there was a track in Florida I went to that would do a race called the U.S. Oval Masters, and they would have a 500 lap enduro where you did pit stops and pit changes, changing batteries, and we had quick change setups and everything. And it kind of just fell like right into my wheelhouse because I've always been like a calm, not overly aggressive driver, like got to get to the finish right away kind of person. And
as indicated by your usual top 10 finish, yeah.
Well, that's where like my driving style, I think in Lemons, like I don't go out there running balls to the wall every lap. I'm constantly, well, first of all, owning a car, I'm constantly conscious of, I want the thing to be at the end,
Yeah.
So
I can
that
feel
plays
the
into
tires grinding off in my wallet.
Yes.
Damn.
that does play into it.
Mechanical sympathy.
Right. Exactly. But I don't let, if somebody makes a douchebag move on me, I don't let it get in my head, under my skin. I just, brush it off, He's going to be in the wall before you know it if he keeps that up, kind of attitude.
So flip it around. What have you now? Because you're back to doing it. You're back at the Wall Stadium. We've got that link up there. What have you brought from your endurance racing back into your RC hobby?
Really not so much. It's been more the other way around. I honestly now don't really get to RC race as much because I'm running the show. Every now and then somebody will hand me a radio and here, drive my car, and if I can get somebody to call the races, I'll do that. I honestly, right now, I don't even have any cars of my own because the last few years we've grown to a point where I've put too much time into actually running the show and not having time to race rather than have it sit in my basement, collecting dust. I sold to somebody to hopefully get it out on the track.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Cool.
And then what was the surprise? You strapped into a car for the first time and you're like, wow, yeah, nope, didn't see that coming at all.
Well, besides the fact that it was like, oh man, I can't even tell you. It was so much fun the first time I actually got to drive on a track. But for me personally, like the biggest surprise was us actually winning Class B at Thompson in only our fourth race. Up to that point, it was just like, I'm out here having fun. We're not really, we ain't got a shot at winning anything. We're just going to try to do the best we absolutely can. And, and it's just the car's been reliable. And by that race, we had our pit stops down pretty good and, just being smooth and consistent, staying out of trouble.
That's the way you win a long race.
Yeah, absolutely.
Consistent, staying out of trouble.
Yeah.
And so that's probably been my biggest surprise. Like I really wasn't. I had no expectations of that. So
okay, that makes sense.
You chose a good car, which helps.
Yeah, well, yeah. Quite honestly, the car, like we bought the car from the guys that had it as a Bozo Zuko theme, and they ran it like twice, and their team kind of disbanded, and the guy lives 10 miles away from me, and I saw it on Craigslist. And when Aaron had gotten me
you said Craigslist, I got bingo.
Oh, damn it.
I was like, nobody said
I haven't
Craigslist.
looked at my bingo card all night.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
I'm an idiot. I didn't actually put one up.
I got bingo. I was like, none of these other things are ever going to come up. And then, okay, I'm sorry. Please continue.
That's quite all right.
Tell us for bingo, what'd you score with?
That's actually the most
Craigslist.
excited bingo we've ever had. Like Bill Fisher had.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, I got bingo.
I did the same last week, and I was like, yeah, I got it a while ago. So Craigslist, RV, blown motor, lemons, and extreme experience. Done.
That's a loaded bingo.
Well, the rest of my card sucks, but that card, that line happened to go well. I apologize. Please continue.
No worries. So the team that had it, the previous owner, he was a Supra guy. Like he owned Supras before that. So
Supra, thanks for asking.
Yeah, absolutely. But so it was like kind of a natural pick for him when the car came up and they built it. And he did a really good job building it. Like he was very informative to me when told me where to look for stuff and what have you and what to look for. So that's helped tremendously. So it was a good solid car to begin with. They had a couple issues that they had worked out in the first two races. And then it's just been really constant maintenance, on our end, checking everything, every race, making sure everything's good. 2 years ago, I started doing the oil analysis just because I want to know, just like in any kind of racing, that's one thing I learned from RC racing, preparedness is important. And, it's just been a good solid car. It's most of the any issues we've had, we've caused it ourselves,
Stepping on your wiener.
Stepping on your wiener.
That never happens.
But otherwise it's just been, she's been rock solid. I cannot complain about it.
Cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
totally. All right.
Chrissy, I don't want to be accused of skipping you. Do you have any questions? Are you all good?
No, I'm good. You guys filled up so many questions that I just, nope, I'm good.
It would help me if someone would skip over Chrissy. I'm just saying.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
Too bad.
Nope. He pointed me out instead.
All right. Well, I feel kind of interested now. I don't work that far from Wall Stadium. I could probably get up there for a Thursday night.
It feels like a father and
out.
son activity. If I'm
there's an indoor track in, I think it's in Willingboro. That's not too far from you, right?
Yeah, that's close to where I live versus where I work.
Right. So, but there's an indoor track in the wintertime. I think it's called RC Car World that you might want to check out in the wintertime with your son. Be a good activity.
Sure. Anything to get him into cars.
Well, I tell you what, from one thing I will say from RC racing when I was younger was taught you how to diagnose problems with cars that a lot of kids don't have today because they're playing video games.
Oh, you know what? Anything to get them off the screen.
Yeah, right. You have
kids
this problem.
these days.
Kids these get off my lawn.
And their YouTubes.
Yep.
Anyway.
And their rock and roll music.
All right.
Well, we are going to move on to
which
on
one
the
of
spot.
this? On the spot.
No, it's going to be on the spot.
Okay.
And so Dave, play along. We'll explain it as if you don't listen because we get like one random new listener every week. So on the spot means I'm going to ask a question, and without any forethought, you are all going to give me an answer, and maybe it'll actually tell me what I'm going to do. And I don't want this to affect the earlier bets about lawn. But it is the end of the semester, and I have yet to complain about work, so I'm going to complain about work. I have
Hang on.
Check.
count them one day off in the next 2-week period, and it happens to be this Saturday. Last Friday, I took the day off, but the wife was a little ill, so we ended up not going to the New York Auto Show.
Oh, that's sad.
So, should I spend my one day off mowing the lawn, taking the safety equipment out of the TR, and returning the TR to Bruce? Or screw all that, go to the New York Auto Show with the wife and the family, around the horn, Chrissy?
Probably go to the auto show.
Go to the auto show, Chris.
Because
Spend the day with your wife, unless she wants to help you take all the stuff out of the TR. Can you drop the TR off and then go to the auto show? Like combine it all?
That's not a bad idea.
All the stuff is still in it, and if I give it to Bruce, he's just going to
never. Yeah,
Yeah,
it'll
it's
never
true.
get out
All
of
right.
that.
We'll never get our belts back or our fire
Yeah.
system.
No, you're right.
And those are
I like
really
those
great belts. I love those belts.
Yeah, we need another set for the Honda.
Yeah.
I could put in a plug. They are the SFI belts from
FIA.
FIA belts. I'm sorry, the FIA belts from oh my God, why am I blanking on the
G-Force.
manufacturer?
Come on.
G-Force, and they have a new design, and there are some new design. Wait.
Yeah.
New design features that are really cool, including very cool pull downs and the
Quick release. The quick release is good.
excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. I guess
While Jeff is sneezing, they're much better than the previous
Mental also
design.
says auto show.
auto show. Dave, what do you think?
The right answer is the auto show with your family. However, if you do spend the time to get what you need out of the TR, that's one less thing you have to do to get more time you'll be able to devote to the Z later on.
You're just no. You're not.
You're
not
thinking
even
so
thinking
far
like-
ahead.
Yeah,
I
wait,
like,
I
I
think
like
too
what you
much.
have to say, and I will subscribe to your newsletter. And that's why Dave has the most successful car in 3PM history. I was thinking like that.
He's not
the one-
distracted by
Because
things
he
like
actually had his car at the last race where we did not.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah. All right.
All right,
Right.
so there it is.
Don't cut the grass,
on the
'cause-
spot.
Then we'll be right.
Yes.
We'll be right anyway. It doesn't matter. if
Maybe
he cuts
I'll
the
do it
grass.
all. Do you
You're
think that's
right.
possible?
No.
No, it's
Yeah,
not.
and I'm going to have all these cars running before my house gets sold.
Right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
We're
I will
turning
say
over
that
a new leaf.
that will be Saturday because on Sunday I have to work 2 different events at campus, and I have Avengers tickets in between. So I'm going to go to work, watch Avengers, and then go back to work.
Now, I do want to, before we wrap it up in here, because I am reading what we're talking about in the show notes. The reason I did the Kelly Clarkson is today, the day we're recording, it's Kelly Clarkson's birthday.
Oh.
Oh, I had no. I
Oh.
mean, I knew it was for the 40-year-old virgin, but I had no idea what it was about.
Yeah,
Nope.
sorry.
Anyway,
Great.
do we know what we're doing next week, or do we have no idea as usual?
No.
No.
We'll figure it out.
Jeff doesn't
figure
even
it
know
out.
if he's mowing the lawn, let alone what's
I mean,
happening in the show.
I'll tell
he
y'all
will not
not
mow
to
the
run
lawn.
a true 24. I bet that's not doesn't take up a whole show. So
Yes, we will have the report from CMP next week on.
So
on the
jealous.
show.
Right, yeah. So it'll be a 25% CMP hangover.
yeah,
Right.
Actually, you know what? Yeah, just see if Kurt and Krugers want to come on.
I'm sure they would. At least one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll
Okay.
we'll do the full up CMP.
We're not supposed to
hangover.
do this on the show. We're
Oh,
still
we're
recording.
burning pod by saying on the pod what's coming up. Oh my gosh, what a shit show again. Thank you for downloading us. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Races. We also hope you'll join us in the world of driving, racing, and building because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe. It is totally free. Then go to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. Even if you
Michael.
hate us, give us a 5-star rating and tell us why. If you have any questions or show ideas or comments, drop a comment on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers, or email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com. Find us on Instagram or Twitter to find out whether Jeff actually mows his lawn at everyone.racers. Thanks again, and until next week, keep the side with the antenna up. Unless there's a corner worker, then just go ahead and flip that sucker over. Keep the wheels down.
Happy anniversary, Brian Medford.